everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Think Tank Thursday. This is Candy, and I am your host this week and excited to spend this time with you. On Thursdays, Trainertainment is committed to spending a little bit of time out of our week actually thinking and not just caught up in the frenzy of doing. And I'm real excited about the guests that we'll be thinking with this week, as we've seen a lot of conversation about this in some of the online discussion boards, and that she can help bring some clarity to. But first, as always, I have to thank our 2021 digital sponsors. Without them, Think Tank Thursday would not be coming. So you'll see everybody on the side there. We've got Creative Works, Redemption Plus, Party Center Software, Hager Communications, StimKnox Embed, and People First. We're very grateful for their support. So on to our guest today. Megan, I'm going to let you introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are and what it is that you do.
Hi, everyone. My name is Megan Burtch. I am from Redemption Plus, and I am our merchandising specialist. I head up our merchandising program, which is going to include prize assortment, selecting and setting up planograms for our customers, as well as on-site installation and training. I also work really closely with our product team, helping select products that are coming in. So I've kind of got I'm kind of all over the place and do a lot, but the outcome is to help you run the best redemption program that you can. That's our goal.
Awesome. And we can attest to that. Redemption Plus is one of the best out there, of course. Well, we brought you on because there's been all this conversation on the online forums about the trends in redemption. Do I need higher ticket things? Should I be leaning more towards adult or older teen type things? And, it's easy for us as operators sometimes to get caught in our single view, the thing that happened at my redemption. So we thought it was a good idea to bring you on to talk more globally. What are the trends that Redemption Plus is seeing? What are those ticket values that we got to be looking out for? And what are those hot items that if we don't have them in our redemption, we should probably get an order into you guys now?
Sure. No, absolutely. It is really difficult when you're just zeroing in on one location to think, well, this is what's happening in my center and I'm seeing this, when, there's customers all over the country that are possibly seeing different things, especially as, new customers come back online from opening restrictions and, capacities. There's just so much going on right now that, it's really kind of hard to gauge just, with a single view. So what we do, we are really big into product data. We try to analyze what our customers are purchasing from us and make decisions based on those. So we've developed a product index. The two big metrics are going to be distribution and velocity. So distribution means how many of our customers are carrying this specific item, and velocity is how quickly they're going to be reordering it from us. So we take all of our orders that are being sent out, we look at it in terms of these two metrics, and then we rank our items based on that. So the things that we have been seeing lately is lower ticket items are taking up the majority of our top selling items. So when I say lower ticket, I'm referencing what we call the impulse player type. This is going to be a player that is coming to your center. They might just be there for the day. They might be attending a birthday party if you're allowed to have those. But basically, they are going to get as many tickets as they can, cash them all in right away, and get kind of the biggest bang for your buck. We like to think of a lot of our products in terms of the grocery store. So if you're at the grocery store, when you're checking out in the aisle and you've got the checkout stand on one side, and then you've got on the other side your candy bars and gum and mints and things. These impulse prizes are going to kind of fill that sort of function. So typically they're going to be about 250 tickets or less. So your candies, your samurai swords, your small items that you're going to sell in large bulk. So out of our top 50 items, 38 of them are impulse items. So that 250 ticket or less range. So
super interesting. I'm going to stop you for just 1 second.
Go ahead.
You used a term called impulse player. Are there other types of players that you guys call internally, or is that just one of the main ones?
No, that's a great question. We actually have 4 player types. And so the first is the impulse player. Like we mentioned, they spend about 250 tickets or less. Then you have your trader. So these players might be coming in a little bit more frequently. They're going to have their eye on something higher ticketed, but they're not going to win enough tickets. So they're going to trade down into something that's a little bit more within their ticket price range. So for example, they might be eyeing, one of the big Nerf blasters that's 3,000 tickets, but they're not going to win enough. They might come up with 500, 600, 700 tickets. So you still want to have something within that same theme that they can trade in their tickets for. A smaller value blaster or a bow and arrow or something along those same lines. Because your trader player, they are going to spend between about 250 and 1,250 tickets or so. And the impulse and the trader, those 2 players are going to make up typically between about 75 and 80% of your redemption program.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. The other 2 player types are going to be the saver. These are your players who are coming back. They are saving up for that high-end Nerf blaster. They are going to spend between about $1,250 and $3,750. And then you have your super savers, and these are the kids that are coming back over and over and over. They're coming on half price game nights. They know exactly what ticket to play, and they are saving up to win that Xbox or PlayStation or whatever really high-end prize that you have. You mentioned earlier, people chatting about high-end prizes. Yes, you do want to have some of these high-end prizes. They do serve a purpose. They serve as a motivator for those players to come in and look and see. But the majority of your players are not going to win enough tickets to get those items. They'll be down in that impulse and trader range. So yes, you do want to have some of these high-end, more tech adult-oriented items, but you also don't want to bite deep into those because they're really only going to be about 20%, 25% of your tickets redeemed. And especially if it's a technology item, consoles, computers, all those devices update very quickly. And if you buy 5 Xboxes, they could be sitting on your shelf for years. And that's inventory dollars that you could push into the prizes that you really need to fill out your program.
Interesting. I love those 4 names. One of the things that you said that also I'd like to highlight that I caught was have things in the same theme, but various ticket items. So you said, like, if you have that name brand blaster that is that super high ticket, there are not name brand similar items that you can have in the different, and those are the ones that will probably move off your shelves while people hope for the big shiny ones.
Exactly. You are 100% correct. We recommend merchandising your product by theme, again, similar to the grocery store. So action gear is the theme that we're talking about with the Nerf blasters and the swords, basically kind of all your battle items. You want to have a variety. You want to have those high-end ticket ranges, but you also do need more products within that theme for those lower end. And then when you're merchandising them by theme, like at the grocery store, you want a frozen pizza, you just go to the frozen section and all the pizzas are there together. You don't have to go to the front of the store to find the pepperoni and to the side of the store to get the sausage pizza. Like everything is there together. It makes it a little bit easier and quicker for your guests to shop and also for your employees to restock.
Interesting. I know we're getting into some of that design service stuff that we'll talk about in a little bit more in depth, but so you said this is action gear. What are some of the most popular themes that are out there right now?
For us, action gear is always very popular. Bin items is one of our best performing themes, and that's going to be, like we were discussing earlier, the primarily impulse players. So that's going to be your Tootsie Rolls, your finger traps, bouncy balls, your small low ticket items that you dump into a bin, to serve as just grab a few things, spend your small ticket items on.
Display case, not your wall, not your flat wall.
Correct. Yeah, these are going to be in your counters, or you might have a separate display set up, off to the side, or just kind of depending on what your layout is. But those impulse and bin items are a very, very high performing theme for us. Our other really high performing theme is plush. So plush is something that everyone can identify with. Everybody loves a stuffed animal, whether you're 2 or 22. And there's so many varieties. You can have a, small, just little bitty plush, 250 tickets for that impulse player, or you can bring in a licensed Pokemon or Rick and Morty type plush that's going to be more up into that saver range to identify with some of your older customers, but it also brings that perceived value of, we've got the latest, we've got these cool licenses in here. It really provides something that everyone can enjoy.
Interesting. I have to ask, back from my operation days, the thing that was always moved the fastest out of my redemption was I don't know what the official word for it, so you can educate me, but there are those rubbery things, like the rubbery little tentacle yo-yo thing, or the puffer balls, or all of that are all made out of that type of material. Mm-hmm. Those I could not keep.
Yes. Anything kind of sticky or icky. We have a whole theme called Ooey Gooey that's got kind of like those sticky hands that you throw and catch, and the splat balls and things like that. Or within our ball theme, we've got the different puffer balls, that have like the little, like you were saying, the tentacles or the, I don't know what you want to call it, fur.
So there's not an official word for these types of things.
Basically, like you squeeze them and they kind of puff out. But yes, those are very popular.
Still, good to know. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think I interrupted you when you're talking about some other trends. Is there anything else, like how you guys follow the trends or what you're seeing out there in the world right now?
Sure. I know I keep going back to those impulse items, but we're really seeing a lot of like fidget type items within our bin category. Like, for example, right here, I've got this little orbit spinner. You remember fidget spinners from a few years ago. Those aren't really cool anymore, but really these kind of small kind of toys that you can sit and play with. We have a brand new one we just brought in that's called a bubble popper. That's basically like, the bubbles that you pop.
Exactly what that is. My 3-year-old got one for Christmas, and hers makes sense to me because it has like ABCs on it. And so like when she identifies a letter, we can pop that letter out and, then the other bubbles are up. My now 9-year-old, she just turned 9 a week ago, wanted one so bad. And then now everyone at her school has one, and they have like created games with them and all kinds of stuff. And now like I see them and they're like rainbow colors, or they're in shapes like the Among Us character shapes, or any of that kind of stuff. And it is nothing to me. All you do is, it's like
you just sit and you pop
material, but you just have it with you at all times.
Yep. I don't know if it's something that can be contributed to just everything in the world and everyone's stressed out right now. We just want to sit and just, fidget and play. It kind of helps relieve stress. But we're seeing a lot of these type items move well, little mind teaser puzzles and just small fidgeters. They're really popular right now. And then another category that we're really seeing move is candy. Always your bin candy, your Tootsie Rolls, your smalls are going to move. But we have been bringing in more of like the full size candies, like your theater boxes, the full size candies that you are going to see in the grocery store checkout. You reach over and you grab a big bag of Skittles or whatever. Mm-hmm. We've been bringing in a lot of those because that's what our customers are asking us for. Candy, which makes sense because, again, that is a prize that can appeal to anybody, whether you're an adult, you're a kid, everybody loves candy.
It's also shareable. When I think about
very true.
It's a shareable prize.
Use your hand sanitizer.
Yes. They're sisters. They have the same germs all the time. Anyway.
Okay, then you're good there.
All of that is fascinating in that some of it has not changed, and I haven't been in operations for quite some time, and then some of it really has. But like the fidget things, it's not just that little spinner that you balance on your thumb anymore.
It's all kinds of different toys, things you can twist, the things you can pop, and then kind of along the same lines, squishies, those slow rise foam squishy animals or shapes or pizzas or whatever. We've been seeing a lot of those, and we've been adding more and more of those to our lines because they've become more popular. Might again be kind of the stress thing. You just can squish it and feel a little bit better.
Yeah, I've noticed this. I think it's a brand name of plush that I have never cut one open, but I think it's those squishy things that, that slow rising foam that
The
they put
squishmallows.
Yes, is that what that is? Is that they put fabric and made them look like animals and stuff, but it slowly rises back up?
Yep.
Yeah, they're pretty popular and all over Instagram, interestingly enough, right now. Okay, the other thing I really wanted you to talk about is like design. If I am looking, was a great time to redesign my redemption. I, in operations, used to go to my stores and I would take everything off their redemption wall about once every 6 months and say, put it back up there, like for a fresh look and all of that. So if I'm looking at doing that to my redemption, what are the design elements? And I know you've touched on a few about keeping like type items together, like think about it in grouping, but what other things should I be thinking about in redesigning?
Sure. Yeah. As you're rearranging your items, like we said, keep items within theme. You want to try to keep things with like clean, straight lines. Again, similar to the grocery store, as you're going in, you've got sections. You're going to have your pasta section that'll be within here, and it doesn't spread all over. So kind of define your spaces. If you can, bring in a lighting element to kind of close off one section from another, or something along those lines. So define your space, clean straight lines. You want to merchandise your higher ticketed items towards the top, and then kind of work your way down your mid-range and then your lower ticketed items at the bottom. And with those lower ticketed items, things that are going to move very quickly, like your samurai swords, having multiple facings of those not only can take up a large chunk of your wall, so you're keeping your SKU count down. You don't have to have, it's so many SKUs that you're always having to replace one thing. If you're having multiple facings of that, it stays stocked longer. And then when you do restock, you're not having to restock as often because you're stocking, maybe 3 pegs versus 1 on those quickly moving items.
Yeah, I know that keeping redemption stock can sometimes be a beast in itself with some of those things. So
yes. So those items that you're going to move quickly on, have multiple facings, have stock. When you walk into your stock room, have those things close to the door, things that you're going to be able to grab and restock quickly. Or if you've got space in cabinets or in your counters, just depending on what you have, those quick movers have stock easily accessible.
Let's talk about visibility of how much it costs, like ticket wise. Like, is it, I as a parent, and then when I was on operations, was a big proponent of, I need to be able to easily see the number of tickets I need to get this thing. It doesn't need to be hidden. I don't want to ask anybody. I need to be able to easily see it. Like, is that standard, or are there some things that it's okay that it doesn't necessarily have it? Like, what is the golden rule there for that?
You definitely want to have ticket labels out for everything. Think about when you're on a busy Saturday, and if you've got a bunch of kids in your space and they don't have the ticket label, and you're trying to check somebody out and you've got a line 5 people deep and somebody's coming up to you, well, how much is this? It just kind of derails everyone's experience. They're frustrated, you're frustrated, the customer you're trying to serve is frustrated. So always having your ticket labels out, clearly visible, and then making sure it's the right ticket label on the right product. Because if you have, an item that's 150 tickets and you've got a label on it that's 1,000, nobody's going to purchase it. Or vice versa, if you've got your 1,000 ticket item that has the wrong label that's 150 tickets, well, everyone's going to be coming up trying to redeem that for 150 tickets when that's not the right case. And then you've just got even more issues with inventory, with your whole card reader system, and you've got unhappy guests. So keeping everything properly labeled will save you a lot of headaches.
Yeah, and I think a tip for that is making sure all of those labels look identical to each other. Whatever your color scheme is, it can match your branding. It can be a generic white, a black on white, but they all need to look the same throughout your entire redemption store or counter.
Exactly. Otherwise, you run the risk of looking like a crazy flea market. And if you're a Redemption Plus customer, we can actually set up your ticket label with your branding, your logo. So anytime you order items from us and need ticket labels, it'll come pre-printed with all of that on there already.
That is a nice little add-on there. Next question I'm going to ask you about is, you help people install these, you do the planograms and all that. What are those tricks that we should know that makes redemption look more full than maybe it is sometimes?
I would say the first thing I would recommend is we have these little rubber guys. They're called inventory control clips, and so you've got your peg, and so say maybe your items should be full, but you're down to the last couple. You scoot your items towards the front of the peg. You put the little rubber clip behind the item, and it pushes it forward to kind of make it look more full. That I always say is a Band-Aid. That's not your solution. You always want to, as you're running low on stock, you want to be putting your order in and getting items in behind it so that you're not running low. As I'm sure you know, and other people have experienced, you walk into somewhere and if there's holes, items missing, it just really lowers that perceived value. And your guests are going to think, well, why do I want to spend my tickets here when there's nothing good to be redeemed? There's plenty of good things to be redeemed, but you throw a couple of empty spaces and it just gets that picked over.
The perception is all off. So yes, thank you.
Exactly.
I should put in that disclaimer. Keep your redemption full, but we've all had that weekend where we were like, where did these people come from? And why is this thing so popular? And how can I solve that gap that Megan's talking about, that hole, until I can get my product in on that next delivery?
Exactly. Yeah. So those inventory control clips are a great option. If you don't have those, or, you're just in a pinch, double face an item, bring out bring out more from the back and stick it right next to it. So instead of an empty hole here, yes, it's the same product, but you've got two of them ready to go. And that means you don't have to stock it again later.
Oh, that's good too. Any secrets for the bins to make them look more full?
It kind of depends on your situation. Some bins, some setups have false fronts. Yes. So like you'll have a small area at the front of the bin, so you keep that full. And then just, behind it, you'll have your inventory that you can grab from. Another thing you can do, depending on how the item is sold, if it's in like a small poly bag, you can take a full bag, kind of stick it in the bin, and then have the loose ones on top of it that you can grab from. And then when you're ready, you can just open that up and have it go loose. But that kind of helps you out when it comes time to do inventory too, because if you haven't needed to get into that package, then you already know, okay, well, that's 144 pieces that I don't have to individually hand count.
Yeah. I love the false fronts. They were not as much of a thing when I was in operations, but afterwards I'm like, that is brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I think we've covered a lot of very interesting things. Is there any other points that you want to make sure that people walk away here with today? I
would say that data is very important. That's something at Redemption Plus we really try to work with and make our decisions based off as much as possible. And so many customers have data that they don't necessarily think about using. So most of those card reader systems will print out reports for you. You can run a report to show what was sold the previous week. Some even have like a 6-week trend that you can look at. So you can use those usage reports to build your reorders and to kind of get an idea of what is selling. Going back to those the player types, if you're looking at your report and you're seeing the majority of your players are redeeming in that 250 to 1250 ticket range, you can see that and use that to make your ordering decisions rather than thinking, well, I want to get a new Nintendo Switch and I want to get the new Apple earphones or whatever the case. Use the data that you have to buy to what your customers want and what your customers need. And that kind of goes for just product themes as well. A lot of times you can walk into a location and you can tell, oh, this is a teenage girl doing all the buying. You want to serve your customers, buy what they want, not necessarily what you want. And you can use your data to help you make those decisions.
Agreed, totally. A little trick for the high end, if you can get a partnership with a local video game. I had some operators that would just go and get the bots from their local video game provider, like that you could actually go and buy physical games from. And then when someone won that, they had an agreement where they went over there and they built the store for the Xbox or the PlayStation or any of that. So they never actually had that product in their store. They just had an empty box for it.
That's a great idea. And I've heard kind of similar things. Instead of actually buying the physical Xbox or whatever, they'll put out a little sign. You need X amount of tickets. And when it is time to be redeemed, the store will go and order it for them and ship it to their house.
That, which as a customer, I'd like that better because then it wasn't sitting on a dusty shelf I get to open it and a whole unboxing, right?
Exactly. It makes it a little bit more exciting for you.
Okay, I warned you, at the beginning of this that everybody gets asked the same question at the end of Think Tank. And so I think there's lots of knowledge to be had about redemption. So go ahead and plug. You guys have an awesome blog and YouTube channel. So I think you guys just released a video.
Yes, every Monday, we release a product highlight video starring yours truly. We send out a weekly email highlighting, which products, whether it's a new product or, hey, we're seeing these items really sell a lot. If you don't have it in your program, go ahead and order this because it's doing well. So every week we send the email and we also send out the video to kind of let you know what's going on. And I don't know about you, but I love really goofy puns and the videos are pretty full of those. So for example, this week we talked about the ooey gooey theme, which is going to be your slimes and your putties. Those things have been very popular with us for a while. But you can sign up at redemptionplus.com to receive our weekly product email, or you can also reach out to your account manager and they can sign up for you. And then we release those videos again on our YouTube channel, Redemption Plus, and then we also share it out on our social on LinkedIn and on Facebook. And then again, you also mentioned our blog, insightsempower.com. We write a monthly blog and try to provide content that'll help you as an operator, in your FEC, different types of content, inventory management, new product, ticket values, all kinds of information that can really just help build your knowledge and help you help your customers.
So what I'm hearing is there's no reason to be uninformed when I'm looking at what the trends are.
Exactly. We can help you out every single week.
Speaking of trends, I'm ready for the slime putty to go away. As I mentioned, I have a 9-year-old, so.
Oh, I'm sure you have seen all sorts of that.
Existence in our world. All right, Megan, tell us all what it is that you do to help yourself or others grow on a consistent basis.
I really try in my personal life and in my professional life, I find that just talking to people and listening is the most helpful. You can learn so much from everyone. Everyone has a story to tell and everyone brings something to the table, different types of knowledges, different types of life experience. And just by asking questions and finding out, what works for them, whether it's in their center, as far as redemption goes, or just on a personal level. Oh my gosh, you use this meditation app or whatever. I think just using each other as resources, finding out good ideas and things, and then sharing those. Learning new things is so important. I always think you should learn something new every single day. So use everyone that you know as a resource and use your customers and just be curious, ask lots of questions, and then take that knowledge and try to help everyone else you can.
Beth would love that. Be curious is one of her favorite things to say. So she is going to love that.
It's an important thing in life.
Thank you so much for your time and for being a 2021 digital sponsor. If people want to connect directly with you, Megan, where's the best place to send them? Email, LinkedIn, where?
redemptionplus.com. Or if you have specific questions for me, my email is mburtch@redemptionplus.com. And we're, always happy to answer questions. We're always happy to help.
They definitely have a spirit of in service, and they believe that the more people they help, that it just feeds their success long run. I have seen that firsthand, that's for sure. Well, thank you again to all the other 2021 digital sponsors. They will all be on ThinkTank in the future as well. If you have an idea for ThinkTank or want to be a guest, we invite you to come to the tank and we can talk about whatever it is any of you want to talk about. Also, be sure Trainertainment has an upcoming virtual workshop coming up, and you can find the details on our website. I am hosting, yours truly is hosting that, and it is about the different personality types. There's 4 main personality types in the world, and what you are, and then how do you recognize others so that you can adapt and communicate better and be curious and have better conversations with people in the future. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we will see you again next time.
Thank you.